I'm Teresa Hargrove, and I'm going to share a recipe with you today that I made up when I was 12 years old. We had a huge garden and we had squash, and I came up with a squash casserole. I'll tell you about it, but let's get started. I'm going to take 1.5 cups of milk. I use 2%, you can use whatever you want. 3/4 pound of cheese, processed cheese. I use Velveeta, and I chop it up really small because you're going to melt this down. 8 ounces of Philadelphia whipped cream cheese. Now, I've used the chive, is really good in here. I've used the block cream cheese, it does just fine. And I've used the fat-free and all of that, and they all do wonderful. I'm going to melt this down over medium heat, stir it all together. Now what I've already done is I've taken 1 pound of zucchini squash, and I just barely peeled it. I kind of strip peeled it and chopped it into bite-sized pieces. 1 pound of yellow squash, I didn't peel it, cut it into bite-sized pieces, and 1 medium onion and cut it up. I put it in salted boiling water for about 5 to 6 minutes till it's not quite fork tender. You want it pretty, it doesn't take long for that just to cook all the way through. You want it just barely cooked, because we're going to add it to this as soon as we get it all melted down. Now, our garden was the biggest garden in Cotton County, and I had a love-hate relationship with that garden. I loved the food we got out of it. We lived on the food that we got out of it. There was a lot of times we didn't have meat, and I didn't even really realize we're not having meat. We're having all these vegetables from our garden. But when I became a teenager and wanted to go to town, of course you couldn't go to town until you tilled the garden, you picked the garden, you watered the garden, everything. So I really came to resent that garden in my later years. But now that I'm married and live in town, we lived in the country out there, and our garden was probably 1 acre, I want to say. I mean, it was huge, or 1/2 acre. It was huge. We had everything. But now I really, really miss that garden, because it's really hard to grow stuff in town when you really don't have the room. But when I made this recipe up, we sit down to eat. We had squash every way. I mean, we fried it, we boiled it, we canned it. I won a lot of 4-H awards for that. We froze it. I mean, we lived off of it all year long. And I was so tired of eating squash that way, so I came up with this recipe. We're sitting down to eat, and my daddy, he's not with us now, he's passed away, he told me, Teresa, get up from the table right now and write down what you've done, because this recipe is a winner. So I really hope you try this recipe. It's really, really good. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Butter and cheese and Philadelphia whipped cream cheese, and a can of green chilies. This is a 4-ounce can of green chilies chopped, and they're not hot. It just kind of gives it a little tang with that Philadelphia whipped cream cheese tang in there. Mix all of that together, and then I'm going to add my squash and my onions to the mixture. Now, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And I've sprayed a casserole dish already with non-stick spray. And I'm just going to add some of this to the bottom. I kind of like to put a little bit more of the juice on the bottom than the squash. Then I have about a 14-ounce package of corn chips, of corn tortillas that I've crushed up. And I'm going to put some of those on top of my squash. Then I'm going to take shredded cheddar cheese. Now this is cheddar and Monterey Jack that's shredded, 2 cups. And you're just going to layer this on top of each other. And then another layer of my squash mixture. Get some of that juice down in there. Oh, this is so, so good. Now you notice I didn't salt this, because I did salt the water that I cooked the squash in. And around our house, we watch our sodium intake, our salt intake. A little bit more of your chips, a little bit more of your cheese, And then some of your squash. Now I make this in all different kinds of dishes. I'm showing you today so that you can see the layers in this dish here. But I've made it in smaller dishes. Some more chips. This is really good. Whoops, they're flying all over the place. This is good to take to potlucks. I take it to the church dinners and everybody just loves it. Now the rest of our squash mixture. Now you're going to cover this with a lid or with aluminum foil and bake it in your 400-degree oven. I put just a little bit more chips on top and then a little bit of my cheese. Oh, cheesy, cheesy. Lid it, put it in your oven, 400 degrees, for 25 to 30 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. Then I take the lid off, 5 minutes, cook it for 5 minutes longer, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to top it with a little parsley. Hang on just a minute and I'll lean it down. Oh, so cheesy. Look at that. Can you get a good look at that? Let's cut into this and get us a bite. Like I said, potluck dinners, so yummy. And let me tell you, your kids, if you're trying to get your kids to eat more vegetables, they'll never know they're eating vegetables. They'll think they're eating chips and cheese. Look, oh, isn't it pretty? See how when you leave the green on, it gives it a little bit more color? Oh, let's give us a taste. Get some of that squash. This is really good. And to think, I made this recipe up when I was 12. I really hope to make it to Savannah so I can wow you with some of my other recipes. But if I don't make this recipe, it's really, really good. Thank you for watching me and have a nice day. Bye.